creativity is an expression of the human experience. And as simple as the sentence as that is, it just blew me because I was like, that's so true. Like, everything is a creation, right? And, you know, in order for someone to have created something, they would have had to live a certain kind of life, live through an experience that made them think, oh my God, I need this. Or I have to make this. Or it was an accident and it was just a beautiful accident and it made a super cool creation. That quote just like struck me because I was like, damn, that means creativity is mad important. And that, I don't know, that kind of just like, it reassured the trust I have in my creativity and the path that I'm on. Because, you know, whenever you tell somebody that's not in that field, doesn't know anybody in that field, doesn't have any experience in that field, that's what you're trying to do, or that's a pursuit of yours, they kind of look at you like you're like, they look at you like you're a child. Like, it's not everybody, but like a good chunk, you get a very condescending reaction, and it's so unfortunate and it's so discouraging and it pisses me off. And that's why I wanted to make this, because I was like, I know creativity is important, and especially when it's expressed through the arts.
So within the last year, I've been doing photography. I'm also into fashion a little bit, so I want to get into like styling.
What do you like about fashion?
I just love putting pieces together. I hate trendy clothes, so I'm always just playing around with my outfits, my friends' outfits, and just trying to style.
When did you know you liked to make music?
Definitely more recently, because like I say I started doing stuff like about a year ago. Sort of started taking it serious once I started like comparing it a little bit. As of right now, I'll probably say like to keep it a hobby until I feel I'm a little more confident with it.
My career goal is to be an actress. I've been an acting major for 3 years and a theater studies major for 1. I plan on doing like experimental theater and performance art, but I'm also really into visual art, and so would probably get a little bit into like sculpting, animation if I can.
So what is State of Mind, and how'd you come up with the name?
Well, honestly, it was a hobby at first, but eventually it grew into the brand that it is today. When I first started out, I was going through a lot, not gonna lie, a lot mentally, emotionally, so it really was just the outlet for me to, you know, get my feelings out and be able to speak my mind in a way that I wasn't able to before.
The whole reason I wanted to even make a film on creativity in the first place was because I was originally a pre-med major, and then I took Bio 1107, and then I did that, and then I graduated a sociology major. But then, like, I don't know, just no matter what way, like, I turned my head and what kind of jobs I was looking for, I always knew, like, whatever, at the end of the day, like, whatever I was going to do, like, it had to be, like, something in the arts. What drew you to photography?
So honestly, I feel like I've been around cameras all my life. Like when I was younger and there were family events, my mom, she would just bring her camera around everywhere and take photos, and I would just always play with it. And so last year I was kind of like, okay, you like cameras, you like taking pictures, your friends always say you take the best pictures, so why not just like invest in a camera? Since I was a little girl, people were like, oh, you should go into modeling, but I have a shy side, so I haven't really pursued it as much as I know I could, but I definitely love being behind the camera. I love talking in the camera.
I guess you could say I've been designing since I was young, but I just didn't know what it was for. Like I would be on Photoshop or on Paint, literally just making different designs. And when I was in high school, I did sell like tie-dye shirts and socks and little things like that, but I didn't know that clothes is what I wanted to do. It was really just being creative. I always found like an outlet to be creative, and at the time it just happened to be tie-dyeing clothes. So now, you know, I've been able to bring it to something much bigger.
I feel most inspired like when I hear something that's really good. I try not to write too much before like I hear a beat or something, because once I hear a beat I just try to write to it, hum to it, to make it like not like so talky like rap. I'm not like these dudes like Babyface, right? Like all these dudes, I can't talk my shit on the track like that and just do it, so gotta find a way to be like smooth with it.
My first play was when I was like in preschool, and I've been drawing like my entire life. When I was little, my dad and I made little books. Like I would tell the story and he would write it down because I could barely write yet, and then I would draw all the pages. I found like animation people on YouTube when I was in like 5th grade, and I became like obsessed with it. And then that kind of is what brought me into acting in like a weird way, because I was so obsessed with like the storytelling of animation, but so frustrated with the process that I was like, is there another way that I can tell stories? And then I kind of like fell in love with theater once I got into my art school. I remember in my 2nd week there, I literally thought to myself, oh, this is what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life. And like, that's just been the case since.
Yeah. I can't be content working a job that I hate. I can't. And any job that doesn't have anywhere for me to express my creativity, I'm going to despise. I'm going to be miserable. And I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't put myself through that. But like I said, like, when you don't live in a space where a lot of people have creative pursuits or really take creativity seriously, you can get a lot of external discouragement. Or even if you don't, you can let like your inner doubt get the best of you and like halt you from ever even pursuing what you want to pursue. Not even knowing whether you'll be good at it or not. You never even try. But I was like, no, screw that. Like, I have to at least try.
For a while, it was just in the moment when I want to take pictures. It was never something that I was consistent with. So I was like, to take it serious and put time away for it, like, it was just hard, because I feel like I have to focus on school right now and just moving on to the next step. And then you have my parents that don't necessarily feel like I should be putting my time into other things. So I was definitely hesitant.
There's like a connotation around like being an artist or like a rapper or something. Like people would sort of associate it with something corny, like, oh, this is just another one of like, you know. So that makes it a little hard for sure.
Was it hard for you to put yourself out there?
Absolutely. I'm the type of person that's really hard on myself. So I was hesitant to start because I didn't think everything was perfect. So if it's not perfect, I'm just not going to put it out there. So it was definitely hard for me to just go for it.
There will be times where I'll write something and I'll look back on it, or I'll say something and I'm like, that sounds a little corny, or like everybody was expecting that. So I just try to challenge myself a little more.
Do you feel like you're your own biggest critic at times?
Yes, definitely.
As an actor, I kind of have the privilege of almost like being on display but hiding myself completely, because I'm normally performing somebody else's words and somebody else's story, and I'm doing that like as authentically as I can, but it's still not, it's very vulnerable and it is very difficult, but it's still not the same type of vulnerability as creating your own work and then putting that on display for other people, because that's like the inside of my brain fully out there for others. I think I worry about putting it on display because it is so for me, like it really is such a therapeutic thing for me to do, and I'm not doing it to be good or bad. And oftentimes when you put art in front of other people, their gut response is to critique immediately and not really like take it in. And as an artist, like I just have to have the thick enough skin to like acknowledge that, you know, not every single person in the world can understand what I'm trying to say, and that that's completely okay, and that I just need to keep putting it out.
Living in Connecticut, like, most people tell you it fucking sucks. I'm most people. And I I don't know, my whole life I've like always wanted to move out of Connecticut, but of course here I am still. And as a creative person, I felt like very, just I don't know, very just like closed off from what I feel like is such a beautiful world just waiting to be explored by me. But because of that, I kind of feel like I've let it put a like dark cloud over my like creativity in a way, because I'm just like, ugh, like I'm here, I'm stuck here, like I can't make anything, I can't do anything. And like, to be realistic, in a lot of ways I am limited, like in comparison to like if I were to go to New York or LA or something and try and have access to certain type of artistic materials or people that I wouldn't have here. Like that's a real difference. But again, like creativity is just making shit shake with what you got, right?
I think that one thing I want to do is move out of Connecticut. That is something I feel like that would give me a real boost in like my creativity, just because I feel like I have a block sometimes here because there's not a lot of things that inspire me. Like, yes, it's home, but it's never like...
It's lacking like the culture, like the environment to where you can be like, oh, you want to go shoot something and you want to go model something type thing. Yeah, I get that 100%. Like that.
So I've always thought about like New York or moving like where something's not always hustle and bustle. I know New York is hustle and bustle, but people are more like designers and creatives. Like they're a little more free-spirited when it comes to that.
If you're from Connecticut, like, like it's sort of like a confined like space. It's not really like a lot to do. You really find yourself going out of here to do stuff. And like, a lot of the people that you're around, whether you're from like New Haven or like Windsor, Hartford, like all these places, you're gonna know people from each place. So like it just shows it's a little hard to expand in such like a tight knit place.
Ryan's answer to my question about living in Connecticut actually kind of changed my perspective a little bit. I will say, I'll give it to him.
It definitely, I think me personally, it helps me because, for example, if I were to grow up in a bigger city like New York or Atlanta or something, my work could be average and it's just gonna blow up because it's just more dense. A lot more people are gonna see it. But living in a state like Connecticut, you kind of have to be different. You have to step out of that box and kind of force people to see what you have to say.
I will say, I'll give that to him because I don't know, the way that he put it, like it does force you to like put real effort into the things that you're putting out. Like whether you're trying to sell a product or whatever, like everybody here knows everybody. That like this is that person's cousin's baby daddy's boyfriend's aunt's godfather. Like it's everybody knows everybody, right? So I feel like everybody's very like just used to everything here and very unimpressed by a lot of the things, and everything just like seems like the same and very just and when you put something out that you're trying to gain an audience for, you have to step out that box that living in Connecticut puts you in, because you don't have like a cool studio to go shoot at like on the fly like you would in LA. No, you got to make something work here. You got to figure something out. It's like when people say there's a beauty in brokenness, because there really is. Like you got to make stuff work. Like struggle meals, like that's a real thing. Like you really got to just make something work. A lot of the foods that Southern Black Americans eat now are brought from slave times when slaves were fed scraps and they just had to make stuff work. Like they just had to make what they had work, and now everybody loves soul food. So do not let anybody else or the super low voice in your head that's trying to talk you down make you think that your creative pursuit isn't important. You're doing what you want and you deserve to do what you want. You didn't ask to be here. The least you can do is do what you want. That's how I choose to live my life. I didn't ask to be here, so the least I can do is whatever I want. Their interviews really did help to say like, yeah, I'm doing the right thing. Like I knew that I was doing the right thing, but like I'm doing the right thing, and they're doing the right thing, and they know that they're doing the right thing. And some of them I can tell are still a little bit on the fence about it, but like If you're pursuing something like that, you know, even if that feeling is this tiny, it's still there, and you know. And the more you do it, the more effort you put into it, the bigger that feeling is only gonna get. Do you ever see yourself pursuing a career in anything creative?
Yeah, all the time, because sometimes I second guess like my major and stuff like that. Sometimes I'm like, okay, is that what I really want to do? So yeah, I've thought about, you know, being like a creative director, or like being a stylist, like I said, and then capturing people in the clothes that I put them in. So I would definitely pursue something in the aspect of like photography, designing, things like that. Yeah.
How do you feel about the fact that people kind of, like, especially like we said with like our West Indian parents, they kind of like, I don't know, look down on those kinds of careers because they're not like stable or realistic enough?
Yeah. Honestly, I've been trying to just think about what makes me happy.
Well, it's easier said than done to you know, stay consistent. Like, you have to be disciplined. You have to force yourself to, you know, get up and do the work some days, even when you're not in the mood. Don't treat it like a job in the sense that you feel like you're forcing yourself out of bed, like you don't enjoy what you're doing. But treat it like a job by putting in those extra hours. Like, when you're just chilling and you have free time, you know, pick up a paintbrush if you're an artist, or start writing if you're a writer. Whatever it may be, just put in those extra hours and the results definitely will come. I struggled with that for the first like year and some change, not gonna lie. I had to really realize that no one else is gonna push me. Like, if I want to do this, I have to do it myself.
I need to wrap this up, but so I'm an Issa Rae groupie. I love Issa Rae, and there's a quote that she always says. She says, "Network across, not up." Basically, what she means is, like, a lot of times when you think of networking or just like jobs or whatever, like, you're thinking, oh, I need to shoot like for the stars, like go up this climbing slider like as fast as possible, when in reality, like, the greatest minds are right next to you.
Surround yourself with people that dream as big as you do. It can feel really alienating and way more difficult than it has to be when you are in a circle of people who don't really see like the big picture of your goals, or don't really like think that they are obtainable. And that doesn't even mean to say that those people are bad people or that they're not good friends. It's just that there are some people who really do believe that, you know, big artists, big successful artists are on this like pedestal, like that's like above other people, that's like godlike or like inhuman in some way. And it's just not true. Like, any small town artist and any big celebrity, they're just people. And they were people with dreams, and you definitely need to be around people who inspire you, who support you, and you need to be like the number one supporter for yourself too, because I've definitely had moments where I've been the sole person who like believed in a goal that I had or a dream that I had, and I got myself there, but it's a lot easier if you've got friends on the way.
Yeah. Bad bitch on a plate, took her on a date. We ball hard, don't play. She look up and see the stars, bitch, we in a rave. Never mind, bitch, I'm lying, bitch, we in a space. The way I'm living costs too much, bitch, you can't replace. Yeah, you can't replace. I ball hard, don't play. Yeah, it's in your face. You gon' see the truth, I'm gon' prove it to you. Ain't no fear up in me, bitch, so I might do it to you. But shit, maybe not. Pass the bread to my little brody, should I get him dropped? It ain't nothing to me. When I step up in the spot, got bitches flocking to me. Yeah, you thought I was lacking, but you know I keep that Glocky on me. Track hard too fast for the police, ain't no stopping for me. Stopping for me, ain't no stopping for me. Ain't no stopping for me. Got a robber, got a shooter, got a Glocky on me. Got his bad little